Hello everyone, another weekend by, another set of hockey, so it's time to go wild. Well, the ice hockey season in the UK is now well and truly underway in earnest, so it's the Time to Go Wild Radio podcast for another week. You can catch us on YouTube and Podbean. You can also get us on Amazon Music, as well as Google Podcasts through YouTube. If you want to contact us throughout the week, you can do Facebook or twitter.com/TTGW Radio. You can email ttgwradio@outlook.com, and you can text 07849767755. Things are underway, so let's get into the guts of things. It's time to go wild. Hello and welcome to another Time to Go Wild Radio podcast with your ever faithful presenter. And you can tell I'm a bit rusty with the intro. Well, you know how things go. It's been such a long time since I've actually had to go into the full flow of things. Even the first couple were been a bit sort of flaky, but we'll see how things go and bring you the best that we can. And we're in the first full week of action from most of the, well, pretty much all the main adult leagues anyway. Juniors will be sort of starting up. We know we had some under-10s action this weekend just gone. And it's all the brakes are off, the skates are sharpened, and we're well into it. And so we've got our usual little roundup of the scores, a few items of news, a bit of chatter about the game from the weekend, as in the Sunday game, and well, we'll just take it from there. Of course, if you want to give us any feedback, messages, shout-outs, if you've got a birthday or an anniversary or anything, you can use the same number we have for match night, 07849767755, and you can drop them in through Facebook or Twitter, or as it is now X, but I still call it Twitter. TTGW Radio is the ending for those. And of course, email ttgwradio@outlook.com. Well, first weekend of action actually underway in the leagues. So, we can do this. Oh yeah, scores roundup. It's been a while. Starting with the Elite League, going back to Friday the 1-3 of September. Yeah, I've said it that way. It's Challenge Cup action first. Manchester Storm 0, Nottingham Panthers 4. On Saturday, Nottingham Panthers 4, Guildford Flames 3. Belfast Giants 6, Dundee Stars 5 after overtime. And on Sunday, Dundee Stars 3, Fife Flyers 2 after a shootout, and Guildford Flames 2, Cardiff Devils 6. Interleague action for the Elite League on Saturday, Cardiff Devils 3, Glasgow Clan 1, Fife Flyers 5, Manchester Storm 6, and on Sunday, Coventry Blaze 4, Glasgow Clan 2. NIHL National League now. And on Friday, the 1-3 of September, for those of you who are superstitious, it was Swindon Wildcats 6, Berkshire Bees 2. And on Saturday, 14th of September, Berkshire Bees 1, Peterborough Phantoms 2, Bristol Pitbulls 4, Hull Seahawks 11. Milton Keynes Lightning 7, Romford Raiders 4, Solway Sharks 5, Leeds Knights 8. On Sunday, Hull Seahawks 9, Bristol Pitbulls 1, Leeds Knights 7, Milton Keynes Lightning 3, Peterborough Phantoms 3, Sheffield Steel Dogs 5, Romford Raiders 3, Swindon Wildcats 2 after overtime, Telford Tigers 4, Solway Sharks 5. Now into Division 1 North Morley, Saturday 14th of September. Billingham Stars 11, Deeside Dragons 1, Hull Jets 9, Widnes Wild 2. And on Sunday, Deeside Dragons 1, Blackburn Hawks 8, Solihull Barons 1, Hull Jets 6, Whitley Warriors 4, Nottingham Lions 1, Widnes Wild 3, Billingham Stars 6. And for NIHL Division 2 North Laidler, on Saturday, Deeside Ducks 4, Kingston Sharks 5, Telford Tigers North 2 6, Altrincham Aces 3. On Sunday, Altrincham Aces 1, Coventry NIHL Blaze 4, Billingham Buccaneers 7, Bradford Bulldogs 0, and Nottingham Lions North 2 0, Sutton Sting 10. And that rounds up our scores from the first set of fixtures for the adult leagues at least. We'll hopefully have more for you on the next edition of the Time to Go Wild podcasts. So, we had some very big scores this weekend. Oh boy, did we have some big scores. In the Elite League Challenge Cup on the Friday, Manchester Storm shut out by the Panthers by 4-0, and then the Panthers keeping their winning streak going by 4-3 against Guildford on the Saturday. And of course, Nottingham Panthers now have Danny Stewart as their head coach, so he's had a really big rebuilding and trying to get everything back together, of course, after the big upheaval and sad issues of the latter part of the season last year. And I spoke to Danny Stewart, I think I said on the previous podcast a few weeks ago, when the Nottingham Panthers were in Altrincham to play the Manchester Storm, and I wished him well for the season. He knows what he's doing. He knows it's a tough job, and they had a rough pre-season, but things, at least in the Challenge Cup for the Nottingham Panthers, are looking quite bright. Moving into the National League, the Hull Seahawks on an absolute storm, beating the Pit Bulls in Bristol by 11-4 on the Saturday, and then on the Sunday 9-1 against the Pit Bulls back in Hull. A big change in the National League as the former Bracknell Bees, then the Bees, have had a rebrand now as the Berkshire Bees, because now playing out of Slough, but they have now decided on a area moniker, and because it's Berkshire and the area that they sort of cover is the Berkshire area, they've now changed their name, adding Berkshire to the start, so they are now double B again, but Berkshire Bees. So it's nice to have them with a full, proper, doubled name, location and moniker as well. So Berkshire Bees we have in the National League. Division 1 North Morley, with regards to the teams, not a lot of change. We'll come on to the results there in a moment. But Division 2 North in Laidler, we have, of course, the Deeside Ducks this year. They've, instead of having the Dragons 2, they've come with a new team name for their Division 2 team as the Deeside Ducks. And fared quite well. I mean, the Kingston Sharks were new last year. They won 5-4 in Deeside on Saturday, but apparently it was a pretty decent game all in all. I mean, the Ducks are a very new unit. A lot of new players at league level, so finding their feet. Billingham Buccaneers continuing on their form from the end of last season after winning the playoffs. With a big win of 7-0 over the Bradford Bulldogs. Bradford, though, they're not shy, and they will come fighting back, no doubt. Sutton Sting continuing their strong form from the end of last season, and a big score of 10-0 in Nottingham as well on Sunday. Now, Division 1 North Morley is got a very different feel this year amongst the teams, from my perspective. Billingham starting off strong again this year with 11-1 win over Deeside. Blackburn Hawks getting off to a big start as well on Sunday with an 8-1 win in Deeside. But for me, the team to watch this year is going to be the Hull Jets. a 9-2 demolition of the Widnes Wild in Hull on Saturday, and then a 6-1 semi-demolition in a way of the Solihull Barons. Solihull have always been a big team, but Hull this year really putting their stamp on what they're trying to do, and 6-1 win in Solihull. I think 2 results that have been a bit of a surprise. Most people probably would have expected a bigger goal difference between Whitley and Nottingham. Only 4 goals to 1, get the T right, on Sunday. And I think many of us, because of the changes in the structure and the players and everything within the Widnes Wild, a 6-3 loss at home to Billingham after Billingham's 11-1 win on the Saturday, well, I think most people were really surprised. I mean, first period, we're still finding our feet, I think, and still brushing ourselves down from the game in Hull. But the second and third periods were just something different and actually very exciting. There was a lot of drama, a lot of shots, a lot of close shots, a lot of breakaways, 1-on-1s, 2-on-1s. And I think from one perspective, you could say second and third periods, Billingham were feeling a little rattled. The tactics used by Widnes weren't allowing Billingham to play the kind of game they wanted to, and we were catching them out. Widnes were catching them sleeping and napping, and it was frustrating for Billingham, particularly as the game went on. You could see there was some feistiness coming into the match. So when you actually look down the stats for the game, it has been quite interesting reading, because it was the first goal didn't happen till 7 minutes and 13 seconds, which was from Chris Sykes. Second goal was only less than a minute later from Roland's Grittans, and then it was at 12:38. Billingham took a 3-0 lead through Chris Sykes. Now, you'd have thought, okay, we've had some quite quick goals here, and then an absolute storming manoeuvre, a debut goal for Luke Alston. 14:38, Luke Alston from Joe Howie and Bailey Thompson. And Luke is just... There was a couple of chances Luke had during the first part of the period, and then just right place, right time, bang, in. So that got Widnes off the mark. So it was a 4-1 first period, because Billingham got one at 15:20, courtesy of Lucas Dowdle. So end of the first, 4-1. Okay, well, no shutout. We're all. It's no shutout, but Billingham are very strong. Second and third periods read very different. First goal in the second period goes to Billingham at 21:54 from James Moss. Okay, so they're now 5-1 up. And then Widnes scored a few minutes later, courtesy of Mikey Gilbert. So it's now 5-2. Thinking, okay. And that's how the period ended, 5-2. So it was a 1-1 period. I'm thinking, okay, this is different. This is not what we were expecting, but in a good way. Third period, Billingham have come out. It took till 48:28, and through Ian Brown, Billingham take a 6-2 lead now. And then an absolute bullet, beautiful play and hard work from Damani James, gets it in the zone. Kai Hathaway's got himself right in the right place, in the slot, feeds the puck through to Damani, feeds it straight through to Kai. Bang! It went in like a ballistic missile. The Billingham goaltender didn't stand a chance. I mean, Turnbull played really well, but I'd have defied most goalies for that shot. It was an absolute point-blank bullet. And that was a 1-1 period. So the period scores were actually 4-1 in the first, 1-1 in the second, and 1-1 in the third. So there. Anybody who'd seen the second and third periods, and it was a 2-2 game. So, people who didn't come down, you missed an absolute treat. And I'm not saying this for the sake of saying this. I'm saying this because we were genuinely on the, oohing and ahhing, and it was getting quite lively. I mean, the penalty minutes are actually really low. It was only 6 minutes of penalties to Widnes and 8 minutes to Billingham. And very, very low penalty minutes, very well skated, generally a good-tempered game. And the shots on goal, Mark Turnbull faced 6, 7 and 11 for a total of 24. And Harry Campbell, at times, some of the saves he was pulling off were absolutely unbelievable. He's flying across. You've got the likes of Chris Sykes and Roland Gritton's coming down, bearing down on him. And next thing, there's a stacking of the pads and the likes, and he's making these big saves. So it was 19, 12 and 11 for a total of 42. I mean, absolutely amazing play from Harry. And it was a tough weekend, and if you weren't there last night, it was a treat of a game, to be honest. First period, Widnes looked shaky, Billingham looked in total control. Second and third periods, it was a very different style of play, very different style of hockey to watch, and it was actually really exciting. I mean, we were all like gripped. It wasn't just sitting there going, well, here we go. No, it was anything but that, and I mean that from the heart. So, that's my take on the games. Let's have a little listen now to the interviews I got after the game. First up, I got a few words with Coach Stephen Foster from the Billingham Stars, and then I was greeted with Owen Ray and Ross Chalmers from the YKK Widnes Wild, and this is what was said. Caught up with head coach of the Billingham Stars, Stephen Foster, after the YKK Widnes Wild. We're playing them 6-3 in favour of Billingham tonight. Good win for Billingham, and I think, to be honest, a good performance from Widnes. Stephen, how did you feel about that game?
Yeah, I thought we started really well in the game. Obviously 4-1 first period, and I think we kind of, I'm not going to say let off. I don't think, we didn't put the pressure on that we were in the first. We started holding on to the puck a little bit more. We didn't forecheck how we can. So from my point of view, I think it was a little bit disappointing the second and third period. I think we're better than what we did there. We showed it in spurts in the second and third period. But I thought the effort from Widnes was very good tonight. The lads never gave up all night long. They were trying to do that stretch pass and stuff like that, and got some odd man rushes on us, and credit to them, they got themselves back into the game a little bit.
And it was, the second and third period, from my perspective, was very dramatic. Lots of quality saves both ends. As you say, the stretch passes coming through for Widnes, but Billingham putting a lot of pressure on the Widnes goaltender, and some of the saves he was putting on, particularly in that second period, stacked the pads as well. Quality shots coming in and good saves, so drama for everyone.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's good to see goalies playing well. Obviously, it was my position, so it's nice to see that. And at the end of the day, I think everybody just wants to see a nice competitive league, and you want good games, you want tighter games. It brings out the best in all players, and I think obviously that's what it started doing to yourselves tonight. It brought out, obviously you had a bit of a tough one last night, and it brought the best out of your team tonight. So hopefully moving forward, yourselves will be it'll certainly help you.
And yeah, you could see the fans are getting a bit more lively behind the teams, both sides. As you say, a tight game, 6-3, it can still get quite close. In a couple of stretch passes the wrong way, or a couple of missed chances and taken chances, it could have been a one-goal game, or it could have gone very big.
Absolutely, and I think that's one of the things that everybody's got this year, is that there's some good talent out on the ice. Yourselves are doing a little bit of a build this year, which is good because you're still getting support there, and that's important for the team to be able to build, to get that support, still see some good ice hockey whilst the team builds, and hopefully that support for your team will continue.
It was a bittersweet end to the season last year for you. You'd won the league title, fell a little short just in that final penalty shootout in the playoffs, but it proved there was so much drama throughout the whole season, and it could go either way as you get to the back end, and this season's shown it could go exactly the same.
Yeah, I think so. I think the teams that you see out there, I think that it's going to be tight. I don't think any team's going to run away with it this year. There'll be probably 3 or 4 vying for the title, and then everybody else is playing for the places after that. that's the way I would kind of see it at the minute, but we haven't seen everybody. So it shows it should be a really good league and exciting from a fan's perspective to come and see these teams, because every point's important for everybody. And obviously changing the rules now so it's 3 points for a win means the teams are going to really go for it, and that's going to add to the excitement.
Well, it's going to be a pleasant ride home, at least, with the win. Maybe you could have thought you got a bigger scoreline, but in the end, a win's a win. I think for the Wild, I think we can have a good smile on our faces with a nice tight game against a very strong competitive side, and build on that for the rest of the season as yourselves can.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's just, for us, it's one game at a time. You just got to get, like you say, get points on the board, just keep that going, because that's contagious. Like we say, we went on a really big run last year, and some of those games you play where you might not play that great and you're still coming out with the wins, and that shows character in the team. But we're just trying to build stuff. We're trying to just keep getting better and better. And I think this year, for us to do the same as what we did last year, we need to be better than what we were last year. Obviously, we want more than what we had last year, but we'll see. You know, there's some very good hockey teams out there, and you know, it's going to be see where at the come April.
Yep, it's going to be a tough one, but we're off and running now. First full weekend of action across the whole league's been underway, so here we go. It's hockey season's here, and let's enjoy it.
Absolutely. I mean, obviously the weather's not great outside, so it gives people an opportunity just to get inside, watch some hockey, some excitement, lots of shots, and get away from the weather too.
Here. Well, thanks for joining me, and have a good trip home.
You too. Cheers.
Oh, we got a double whammy. I've got Ross Chalmers and Owen Ray with me after the YKK Widnes Wild. We're taking on the Billingham Stars. First time we've seen them this season, and of course the previous night we took on the Hull Jets. Tough night last night in Hull. A few thoughts about how that game went?
I mean, I wasn't there, but I heard it was quite tough, very fast, and the other team were on their ball here, and they're going at it, pushing. So obviously this game here, we had to step up and show Billingham that we're not that kind of team, we're not below the league. We put up a fight, and we did so. Even though we lost, the result was better than we thought it would be, so we could accept that.
You know, in your thoughts on last night's result, it's a tough one.
Yeah, it was a tough one, but we had a slow start, then we picked it up through the game. Then today we started pretty strong and we kept it going throughout. So,
I mean, tonight, I don't think anyone could have predicted the result as close as it was last season. Of course, Billingham were very, very strong. This year, they've started off strong with their result on Saturday. But tonight, 6-3 result. I think you could say it's a pretty happy dressing room.
Yeah, I mean, at 6-3, we're hoping make it, do a wee bit better. Obviously, the first we were a wee bit off, but we started to push through the second and the third, and we kind of just accepted the result. We could have got better, but we couldn't do nothing about it. But we put up a fight for them, and that's all that matters. And
you put up some good performances as well tonight. It was just a case of digging deep.
Yeah, we had to dig deep. There was a couple of mistakes, but if we sort them out in training, I'm sure we could beat them pretty easily.
I mean, Stephen Foster from Billingham pointed out a couple of the stretch passes were coming through from Wild, and you're getting those nice sort of one-on-one, two-on-one breakaways, trying to get in behind the last man, and it was catching Billingham out.
Yeah, like,
it's a tough thing. It's tough. It is tough. Oh, he's lost for words. Ross, it's always one of these things where sometimes the first period can be hard against a team you've not played against in this way, and the second period there was a few plays that were very different.
I mean, when I was playing the first period, I kind of got lost with the team because I've never played against them, but then I started to get used to how they play and the way they come in the zones and all that, and then I started to kind of just be like I knew what they were doing. But it was a good game. Second period, it was easier to know what they were doing. I could predict what they were going to do, and obviously it was easier to make the passes and all that. So that's all I could say to that. It was hard, but I played my best. We all did.
I mean, goaltending tonight was a big factor, massive offset in the shots on goal, and of course our goaltending did actually, to be honest, stand really strong. Second period in particular was some outstanding saves. I mean, you could see, I mean, you don't often see stacking the pads these days and those kind of dramatic saves, but it had everything.
I mean, yeah, there were good saves, yeah. It had a good game. It was on the ball, and it was brilliant. He was on his feet all the time. He was fast. He was getting there. Honestly, the goals that put into him, it wasn't his fault, but he played his best there. That's all that matters.
And as you say, the first period was very tough. It's, you could see with the goaltending as well, trying to get used to where pucks were going to drop and players were picking up the garbage, and everyone's trying to sort of feel their way through the game. But the second and third, I mean, in terms of the pace of the game, how did you feel the pace of the game was?
Yeah, it was fast, but because we're a young team, we've got the legs to keep up with them, so it's pretty easy for us.
It is. It's a tough call. I mean, particularly with travels and the like. So, tonight I think I think the fans can go home pretty pleased with the overall result and the performance. And all in all, what sort of thing would you sort of say to the fans about the coming weeks? We've got one of the big ones next week. It's D-side, and that's always going to be a lively fixture. I mean, you've just got to stick with them, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, that's another team I've never played, but to the fans out there, hopefully we can get enough of you to come up at D-side, get your support, and obviously watch us play our best, and hopefully we can try and win this next game. So we'll see you at D-side.
I mean, it is a big one. Owen, you've played up against D-side last year. You know what they can bring. You know how lively the games can get. So what would sort of you say to the fans about getting them down here for next week as well?
Just be as loud as you can. And it's not too far for you lot, so just bring your best.
Well, I think you guys did bring, I'd say, your best tonight. It's a tough call, and 2 games back-to-back against 2 very good teams. I wish you well. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody, for your kind chance of sparing some time. Poor Owen was a little worried, as you can probably gather by part of the interview. He's like, I'm not really sure what to do, but don't worry, Owen. We'll catch up with you again later in the season. But don't worry, don't try and catch anybody out. It's all friends, and the thoughts of all the people I've spoken to, it is there to get their take, to help get out to people out there so that you can see from the other perspectives just how the games are running. But, I mean, in some ways, Stephen Foster's expression, he was a bit disappointed more so in their second and third period performance. Widnes did try a lot of different things, and both Owen and Ross very enthusiastic about the way things changed for Widnes and how the contrast and the feel on the benches has gone. It's so enlightening in a way, especially from the Widnes perspective with myself, because it is a very young team, very new structured team, and it's going to take a bit of time, and it will take time, but it will come together. So I think it is time for a little bit of table talk. Now, maybe I'm being a bit quick off the mark with table talk, but I think we can have a quick look at where things are in the standings. In the Elite League, though it's a bit of a mixture between Cup and League action at the moment. It's something like Glasgow have only played 2 games. Fife won. Sheffield, Nottingham, Guildford, Dundee and Belfast yet to start playing. Manchester, Coventry and Cardiff have all played 1 each, so not really much in terms of that table to go through. But with the Challenge Cup this year, it's at the moment you've got Belfast sort of leading the charge of their table, which is between Glasgow, Fife, Dundee and Belfast. And then the other table, which is Sheffield, Coventry, Guildford, Manchester, Cardiff and Nottingham. Coventry and Sheffield are yet to start. And Guildford Flames, 4 games at the moment and only 2 points. Manchester 3 games and 2 points, Cardiff 1 game and 2 points, and Nottingham 2 games and 4 points. So, in many ways, from the past of my watching of British hockey and more in the last sort of 20 years, Nottingham have always seemed to do quite well with the Challenge Cup in the Elite League. So, that's always one that they seem to enjoy. We'll have a quick look at the National League now, and at the moment it's Bristol at the foot of the table after 2 games, then the Berkshire Bees after 2 games in 10th, Telford have 1 game and they're in 9th, Solway played 2, they're in 8th position, Romford Raiders in 7th after 2 games, Peterborough in 6th after 2 games, Milton Keynes in 5th after 2 games, Sheffield Steer Dogs 4th after 1 game, Swindon Wildcats 3rd after 2 games, Leeds Knights 2nd after 2 games, and the Hull Seahawks top of the shop after 2 games. But basically, the main difference between Swindon, Leeds and Hull is the goals for and goals against. It's 8-4-5 against for Swindon, 15-4-8 against for Leeds, and 20 goals for and 5 against for Hull. But that score is basically the goal difference that they've put through on Bristol. Oof. But early days, early days. Moving to National League at the moment, still very early days. At the moment, you've got Bristol, Pitbull. Oh, I think I've done National League. What am I saying? Because that was off their new website, which I will mention in a moment. Moving to the Ladle League, that's already had a few games played. Nottingham Lions, Bradford and Deeside yet to get any points after their first game or games. Sheffield Titans are currently 7th with a point. Altrincham in 6th on 3 points. Billingham Buccaneers in 5th on 3 points. Coventry in 4th at the moment on 3 points. Telford 2 in 3rd with 3 points. Kingston Sharks in 2nd on 5. And the Sutton Sting at the top with 6. And the one thing to remember this year is a win gets you 3 points, not 2. So it's 3 points now for the win. And in Morley at the moment we have the Sheffield Scimitars in 10th, Widnes Wild in 9th, and the Leeds Knights N1 in 8th, all yet to score any points. Solihull Barons in 7th after 2 games with 3 points. Nottingham Lions in 6th, 3 games played and 3 points. Deeside Dragons in 5th, 3 games and 3 points. The Blackburn Hawks in 4th, 2 games played, 3 points. Whitley Warriors in 3rd, 2 games and 6 points. And the Hull Jets and the Billingham Stars basically 2nd and 1st respectively, both on 9 points each from 3 games. And it's basically, again, the goals for, goals against is the main factor between Hull and Billingham. So that's sort of the quick look at the table. And as we said, this year it is different because of the points. So I think overtime wins are 2 points and overtime losses a point. And, of course, regulation losses no points. So it's going to be a little different this year with the table. Could have some people bouncing around a little bit more. Who knows where it's going to go? So that is a little bit of table, but of course, very early days of the season. So who knows where it's going to go? So time for...
That's the sound of the police. That's the sound of the beast.
Because some people have already been on the naughty step. Oh, yes. There are already players on the naughty step. First up, we have for Telford Tigers, Ross Connolly. He got a 5-game suspension for an illegal check to the head. Ooh, dear. So that's for courtesy of England Ice Hockey and their Department of Player Safety. And from the Elite League, there were... I'll read the article because it's from the game between the Guildford Flames and the Cardiff Devils. And it says, on Saturday night in Guildford, Devils defenceman number 41, Josh Batch, was deemed to have been the aggressor in an altercation which resulted in multiple blows to an unwilling combatant. With 2 minutes 33 left in the game, Devils defenceman Josh Batch is engaged in a puck battle with Flames forward Matt Alvaro. When making a play for the puck, Flames forward number 7 Daniel Cacianecci makes legal body contact with Batch. Batch took exception to the contact and cross-checked Kachinechi twice as both players skated towards the net. After receiving 2 cross-checks, Kachinechi then slashed Batch between the legs, making contact in the high thigh groin area. This is slashing. Batch then immediately dropped his gloves and delivered multiple blows to an unwilling combatant, forcing Kachinechi to defend himself. After both players fell to the ice, Batch continued to throw multiple blows to his opponent. This is an aggressor. Effective immediately, Cardiff Devils 41 Josh Batch has been fined and suspended for 1 game, and Guildford Flames number 7 Daniel Kachinechi has been fined. So tempers are getting a little frayed in some teams, and yeah, you can tell there's a lot of desire to win, and it's only early doors.
That's the sound of the police. That's the sound of the beast.
And that's who's on the naughty step at the moment. Ooh. Quick news item. And before the game on Sunday, we had an extra little 1 minute stick tap and applause, because at the age of 78, Ken Taggart has passed away. Ken was a stalwart of British ice hockey with an indelible mark on the sport, and for the generations to come, his commitment to providing opportunity for young players, his pioneering efforts in women's hockey, and his dedication to promoting diversity and inclusion solidified his legacy as one of the greatest figures in history in British ice hockey. And he passed away on the 11th of September, so only recently. Ken was a key figure involved with the British Ice Hockey Association, British Hockey, and of course the EIHA. And there's a full article outlining everything to do, a nice summary from England Ice Hockey on englandicehockey.co.uk. And sadly, he leaves behind his wife Rachel and his 4 children, Michelle, Lance, Eric, and Carl, and 1 grandson, Cameron. And our hearts and best wishes do go out to Ken's family at this sad time, but his legacy will definitely live on in a very good way with what we have now and what we build on as we all move forward with the season ahead and hockey in this country moving ahead. So there we go, just a little bit about Ken Taggart's passing. Very sad news there. In fact, there's the picture on the EIH website is of, I think it's an ISL game, but I'm trying to see who's in the other shirts, but I think they say EA Sports on them, and it's Manchester Storm by the looks of it, so it might be a special game that was being played. I'm not sure if they were sponsored. I can't make out who the other team's jerseys are, it's hard to see, but anyway, there's a nice photograph as well with Ken in one of his refereeing jerseys from back, it looks like from the ISL era. So there we go. Well, that sort of the other bit of news, of course, is the National League have their own website now with their stats all compiled together, nihlnational.com. So that's if you're a big National League fan. You can also get extra information about the National League from nihlnational.com. So, I think it is a bit time for our final little fling in the show. Of course, if you're after everything Widnes Wild related, it's widneswild.co.uk. We have our Facebook and Twitter.com/WidnesWild, or you can have Instagram.com/WidnesWildOfficial. I think it is TikTok.com/ it might be @WidnesWildOfficial, and our YouTube page, Widnes Wild Ice Hockey Club. Of course, you can check out all the stuff to do with Own Loan, podcasts, and extra information on the club and our sponsors. Of course, we thank all of our sponsors as ever. Title sponsor YKK, our penalty box sponsor Fresco Environmental, and our Timekeepers Bench sponsored by Sigmatex. And as well as that, we have additional sponsors to thank, those of Cheshire Taxation, DMH Tyres, Roger Truck Services, MPG Maintenance, Bright Spark Event Lighting, Northwest Mixers Ready Mixed Concrete Providers, and Newton Construction. We also have some player sponsors. Charlie Henry is sponsored by Bear Aesthetics, with additional sponsors of La Jolie Ronda and also Alice J. Clark, Sports Romance Writer. And our Bez Hughes is sponsored by Barlow's EV. Now, some up-and-coming fixtures for you. This Saturday, our under-18s are in action at Planet Ice Widnes, 6 o'clock, 6:05 face-off against Bradford. And then on Sunday, 22nd of September, it's the D-Side Dragons making their first visit of the season to Planet Ice Widnes, 5:30 p.m. for that one. The 28th of September at the moment, there are some junior fixtures in the calendar, but at the moment I need them confirming, so we'll update you when we get those confirmed. But the YKK Widnes Wild will be facing the Division 1 Leeds Knights on the 29th of September, 5:30 p.m. at Planet Ice Widnes. And then the weekend after that, 5th of October, I should say, crumbs will be into October. It will be our under 14s scheduled for action on the Saturday the 5th. And we are in Whitley Bay for your YKK Widnes Wild on the 6th of October. So that will mean the 12th of October, our under 12s are in action at Planet Ice Widnes against Telford, and our under 19s, because we now have under 18s and under 19s. Our under 19s will be in action against Nottingham on the 12th of September. So under 12s will be at about 4:15, and the under 19s will be in action 6:05. And then the YKK Widnes Wild are in action on the 13th of October, and it's the Solihull Barons. So some big fixtures. Some big fixtures coming up over the next few weeks. Check out widneswild.co.uk and keep an eye out on social media for all the postings about all of our up and coming games. And of course, we'll try and bring you a little bit of a roundup of the juniors as well, and women's hockey as they all get fully underway each week down at Planet Ice Widnes, and also some little snippets from across the rest of the leagues. Well, there we go for another week. I hope you've enjoyed listening. Hopefully there's been something of interest for you. If there's something you might want me to cover, again, drop me a message, facebook.com or twitter.com/TTGW Radio. You can email ttgwradio@outlook.com, or you can send me a text 07849767755. So, as usual, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, enjoy your hockey wherever you get it, and after all, that's what we love about it. Anything can happen. From me, for another week, from the Time to Go Wild Radio podcast. Take care. Till next time, ta-ra.